Hello everyone, I'm Matthew Johnson, owner of Elite Singer, and today I'm very excited for this video. We're going to be analyzing Chris Cornell singing Like a Stone. He's a vocalist that has continued to inspire my own singing and the type of singing that I teach many of my students. He was a fantastic musician, vocalist, and performer, so I'm looking forward to getting into this with you. So let's dive right in and see what we got.
This song is called Like a Stone. I'm Chris Cornell. It goes like this.
I love the acoustic version of this song.
On a cobweb afternoon in a room full of emptiness by a freeway, I confess I was lost in the pages.
So a couple of cool things already. He's starting very small. He's not using a lot of volume at this point. The issue is if you start too big too soon, then you have nowhere else to build. If you start with all of your power, later on, everything's just going to start to sound the same. So he starts so well with this smaller volume, and later on, he's going to build and build and build as he adds in more of that power and the distortion that he's so well known for. The other cool thing is his mouth shape is very, very small. A lot of times when we're listening to rock, the words aren't quite as overpronounced. We want to make sure we don't overpronounce words in rock because it makes it seem a little too formal. So this smaller mouth shape gives it a little bit more of a laid-back quality. It's also going to make sure that he doesn't tire out his voice too much later on as he's going for the higher notes with all of the power he's known for.
I've a book full of death, reading how we die alone. And if we're good, we'll lay to rest anywhere we wanna go.
The coolest thing about this is so you can hear his vocal folds are relatively light. He's going more into that lighter, mixier place. He's not using all of this strength, but a lighter, looser type of quality in that range so far with breathiness. So his true folds are opened a little bit more, and he's adding distortion on top of that. The distortion that he's using here is false fold distortion. So we have the true folds, which is how we typically make our sounds. And then above them, we have false vocal folds, which are essentially just flaps of skin. And when you bring those together, you get a very gritty, rattly type of sound. The cool part of this effect is we have this really light, loose type of vocal production with this added grit on top of it. It just makes for such a cool balance between the two of them. Let's see where he takes it next.
Any house to be room by room, patiently I'll wait for you there, like a stone. I'll wait for you there alone.
Love this song. I'm very familiar with the studio recording of this, and being able to hear the acoustic is just such a joy. I love the studio recording, but I think the acoustic, having just him on the guitar, gives a lot of exposure to the voice. You hear a lot of different nuances in the voice that you don't normally get when you have, electric guitars behind you and drums going on behind you. It's just a different type of feel. I feel like this allows for a little bit more of that emotional expression and vocal expression, which I think is just so cool to hear. So as he's going through that entire chorus, we are hearing that false fold distortion almost all the way through. He is always on the cusp of that type of sound. We hear that the vocal folds get stronger, but he isn't necessarily getting much louder. He's letting the microphone doing a lot of the work for him. And this is something that is so important for rock vocals. So if Cornell's putting on a 2-hour set, he's not going to be able to sing at max volume the entire time. He's going to wreck his voice if he did it that way. So with this, he doesn't add too much volume. He mainly lets the microphone do that work so he can, he's only singing one song in this case, so he could blast that volume if he wanted to, but he's gotten so good with his technique where he can pull that back a little bit and let the microphone do a lot of that work. So he's not using too much effort or intensity in his voice to get the power that we're hearing here.
On my deathbed, I will pray to the gods and the angels, to the pagans, or the ones who will take me to heaven, to a place I recall. I was there so long ago. The sky was bruised, the wine was bled, and then you led me on.
Nice. Let's see what note he's taken up to. Yeah, so he's going up to an A there. Da 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 da. And it sounds so easy for him. He just goes up there like it's nothing. And that's what we want. We want to make sure that, going into the higher notes, they're not adding any more squeeze or tightness to get up there, but it feels just as easy as all of the notes below that. And, we'll see later on as he goes higher and higher in the range what that sounds like. There's so much emotion going through the song, and that's something that Chris Cornell always just got, and it made his songs so intense overall, is that every aspect of the music really led to that overall emotion. So we're hearing so many different aspects of the voice. The breathiness, the vibrato, every once in a while, he falls into a little bit of vocal fry at the ends of his words, adding into that power, that lightness in the voice, moving between whether he's singing strong or soft. These are all different elements that add to the emotion, that add to the storytelling of the song, and he just has this in spades right now. It is so cool to see. It's so amazing to see how much he crafts this song with every different layer of all the tools that he has.
In your house, I long to be, room by room, patiently I'll wait for you there, like a song. I'll wait for you there.
One thing I wanted to add too is as he's going into that upper chorus, a lot of times we see singers getting into their upper range and they start to look a little scared, right? You can tell that they're kind of thinking a lot about those upper notes. They spread their mouth a lot. They start to get into this shoutier place. He just doesn't need to do that because he's comfortable with his voice. He's comfortable with his technique. So you'll notice that when he's going into the like a stone, he doesn't need to open up that way to make that happen. His mouth stays pretty contained. This is something that's going to make it a lot easier for any vocalist to blend into their higher range and find a confident mix, confident belt without needing to overwork, without needing to push or use too much effort to make that happen. So just the control all around from volume to mouth shape makes something like this seem so effortless and so easy to do.
All I read till the day was gone, and I sat in regret for all the things I've done, for all that I've blessed, all that I've wronged in dreams, until my death I will wander on. In yours.
Just to mention this too, so another kind of cool element that he's adding in is when he goes back into the chorus for a second time, when he goes back into the verse, when he's repeating another melody that he's already sung before, He's throwing in a couple more riffs and runs. He's throwing in a little bit more of a different vocal quality to it, just to mix it up from what he did before. And a lot of times, he uses a really good blend of some R&B elements to it, some blues element to his songs, so he has the strength of that rock going into more of the riffs every once in a while. That's something that he does in a lot of his music. That kind of blends these two different elements of music together, which I think is just great. He has this vocal agility that he can just fly through those nice and easy. Once again, it adds to another kind of emotional aspect to the song, because it's not the same twice. Most of the time when you go through something multiple times, it should be different the second time, right? If you sing a chorus 3 times and it sounds the same every time, it's going to take away a little bit of the interest. You're going to lose the audience. But being able to adjust it in small ways each time gives them something new to listen to, and that's something that you hear from Cornell just all of the time. It's interesting after that section that he totally cut guitar, cut voice, and just let everything kind of sit a little bit before continuing through that. And a lot of times when we think about singing, we think of always needing to make sound, always needing to be doing something. It takes a real performer and a real musician to understand that there is so much being said in complete silence. And I got some chills just kind of, hearing that. Just complete silence, letting everything just sink in before going on again into the next section.
Along the beach, roam by room, patiently, I'll wait for you there, like a stone, I'll wait for you there, alone.
That is such a performance, and I gotta say how thankful I am, and thankful I'm sure how we all are, that we could just go online and find these videos, archiving incredible performances from incredible musicians. Some of them like Cornell that, we'll never see a new performance again, which is, really tough to think about. And it's amazing to see how much he has made his mark on the rock scene. He is always going to be rock royalty. There's just no denying that whatsoever. So hopefully you can see the build that he created in this song, starting from a really light, almost breathy type of vocal quality to all of this strength and power and added grit going into the later on choruses and verses of this song. He takes us on a journey from start to finish, and that's something that Cornell is so, so great at. We hear so many cool voice affectations that he's using here. Breathy vocals going into stronger and tighter vocals, clean sounds to distorted sounds. Going through that last chorus, he was using a lot of that false fold distortion. This idea of resisting that breath flow and getting those false folds in the way, room by room, adding that type of intensity, building that oomph as he's going into his voice, and once again adding another element of emotion to it. Just start to finish, this is a masterclass of what a really fantastic performance is. So let me know in the comments, what are some of your aspects of this performance? I can't say enough good things about it. It's just, you can't beat it. You can't beat it. If you enjoyed this, I do have more reaction videos coming, as well as singing tips to help you build your voice and confidence. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you enjoyed. I look forward to seeing you for another video, and I'm looking forward to continuing this discussion in the comments. Thank you, everybody.